This is the Throttle Out Show presented by Vixen Industries, the only show where monster truck drivers and mechanics come together to present what's happening in the monster truck community. It's the ultimate combination of torque, horsepower, and trash talk. And now for your hosts. First, straight out of the heart of Detroit Rock City, it's Kid Rock's neighbor and former driver of the BKT ride truck. It's Austin Spence. And the duo deep in the heart of Texas, it's the show owner and daughter of a man who conquered the industry for over 20 years. It's Harley Johnson, along with everyone's favorite Bryce Kenny lookalike, Austin Tweedy. So go ahead, fuel up, strap in, and remember, when in doubt, throttle out.
Good evening, my fellow Americans. This is the Throttle Out Show, and this is Wheels Up Wednesday. Harley Joe, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. It's crazy to feel like it's like Wednesday already. I feel like we just did one of these shows like yesterday.
Yeah, no doubt. Our shows have been so good lately. The guests that we've had have been absolutely phenomenal. The stuff that we've learned, at least in the last two episodes, have been mind-blowing. However, this episode tonight, I have been looking forward to this episode for probably 2 weeks now. This episode and our guest tonight, what we're going to be talking about really hits close home, or hits home with me. A few weeks ago, Austin Spence, who by the way is not on the show tonight, okay, he is at a monster truck show in his hometown of Jackson, Michigan. So he's out there representing the Throttle Out Show up north. He's having a good time. I saw a video earlier. He was getting the crowd pumped up on the microphone. He's actually got a headset on. He's calling a race tonight. So Austin, good luck to you. Have fun tonight, and we'll catch up with you on Sunday. But he sent me a video link, and it's this good old boy up there in Indiana building a diesel monster truck. And right away I was like, we've got to have him on the show. I've got to know what's going on here. I feel like the fans of the monster truck world would love to know more about a diesel monster truck. I'm not going to say any more about the truck. I'm going to let him do all the talking. So, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time ever on the Throttle Out Show, I'd like to present to you my new friend, Brandon Overmyer. Brandon, what's going on, good buddy?
Man, everything's going on. That introduction was awesome. Thanks for that. I don't know that I deserve that yet, but we'll see what we do here.
Oh, you do, my man. You do. I've been looking forward to this for a few weeks now. You know, you and I have been in contact with each other talking about, our show tonight. And so I think we should probably just go ahead and get right to who you are. I mean, I just learned about you for the first time a couple of weeks ago. So where are you from? What do you do for a living, man?
So I'm from Rochester, Indiana, and we currently have a family tree service here, and we try to stay within 100 miles of home, and we do everything to do with tree care. But we didn't really start out that way. My dad started out with a shop called Big O Off-Road here in Rochester, and he was in the four-wheel drive business for most of my young life, and that's kind of why I got a monster truck sitting behind me now. So
what was it that drew you to building a monster truck? Why a monster truck? Why not like a mega truck or just another little toy to play with?
Well, we've had show trucks for years, ever since Dad was in the four-wheel drive business. We had short show trucks on 44s and whatever. So we were around the monster truck scene, and I grew up around guys like Mike Vaughters and Charlie Pauken and Andy Hoffman, Jeff Cook. I mean, we rolled with the Thunder National crew for quite a few years there. So I don't know. Every little kid that's been around a monster truck or sees one is drawn to it. It's not that mega trucks aren't cool. It's just there's nothing like a truck with 66-inch tires on it rolling around, So that's kind of been a goal I've had, a bucket list to have one of these again. So
it's definitely on our bucket list for sure.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I think we should just all get together and build a monster truck together. We'll have a lot of fun with it.
Come on up. Yeah.
So where did this truck come from? Is it a custom built in-house truck? Did you purchase it from somebody else?
So the chassis I purchased from Paul Wickelman, actually. Everybody calls him Winkleman, but it's actually Wickelman. I double-checked that today before I did this show because I talked to him all these times and I didn't know. But anyhow, he's out of Portland, Indiana here. And at one time, Paul says he had 8 monster trucks, and he did his own shows and everything. And the guy's been there and done that. And he sold everything down to where he had his nicest truck left, essentially, and it was sitting in the back of his pole barn. And when I devised this plan that I wanted to buy a somewhat race monster truck, I don't know, stumbled into this deal with Paul, and I made the deal to buy it. So yeah, I bought it as a rolling chassis essentially, and then I stuffed a Cummins in it on video for everybody to watch. So
I didn't know that Paul still had trucks. Was this like one of his last, I guess?
this is his last. When I made him the deal to buy it, and I had to work up to this. It wasn't that Paul necessarily, he didn't have it for sale anywhere. It wasn't, oh, I want to sell this thing type thing. I mean, I made friends out of him. And when we went down to get this truck, it was like a milestone for me, first of all. And we left it with every monster truck part that Paul had in his possession, essentially. He has, now granted, he kept the engine out of it with the transmission because I didn't really want it. And he wanted the body off of it because it meant something to him. He wants to cut the body in half and hang it on his wall in his shop, which was perfectly fine with me. So, yeah. So, but he sold trucks over the years, and he sold down to, like I say, this was, I think he felt like his nicest piece, and he was okay with keeping it. He's just like, it doesn't owe me anything, and I can say I still have a monster truck, you know?
So we pulled some video from your channel on your YouTube channel. You can follow him at America_TV on YouTube, and we'll go ahead and play some footage. And I think Harley's got a question for you in the meantime while we play this.
Why did you choose a diesel? Why did you choose to build a diesel monster truck?
So when I got out of high school, I had a 96 Dodge Cummins truck that I drove to prom and everything. And my cousins had Duramaxes, and we went to a sled pull, and one of them told me, you know, your Cummins will never outpull one of my Duramaxes and whatever. I was like, really? I'd take that as a challenge.
Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. So then we started sled pulling constantly, and I turned my street truck into a full-blown 1,500 horse truck. You got to haul on a trailer everywhere that's gutted. And I was just, the diesel bug bit me by that time. I learned about them night and day. You think about them. That's all you, I don't know. That's what you get up in the morning to go do, I guess, when you're a young guy and don't have anything else. I spent every dollar I made on that truck, I think, for 5 or 7 years there, you know, and so I just knew about Cumminses by this point, and you know, Dave Red Zeros beat me to it. He really, when he come out with that Air Dog truck, it was a 2nd gen Dodge body truck with the Cummins in it. I was like, man, I kind of wanted to do that, you know, but I was still young and I was sled pulling. And you can only do so much, you know. So Dave did a great job. He's a good dude and whatever. And yeah, I don't know. Sled pulling kind of just got old to me. You just constantly spend money on them. It's just an endless money funnel. And I thought this was something that we had in my son. He's almost 3 now, and bring a monster truck back around here, we could enjoy together a little bit more, maybe. So
you brought up the name David Zeres. So me getting away from, you know, my dad drove Bigfoot for many years, so I'm obviously gonna be a Bigfoot fan at heart. Didn't really have a lot to do with Monster Jam growing up, and then Dave kindly pulled me into that world, and I never left. But so Dave and I, you know, we started working together in 2017. Well, first of all, what a great guy. Very knowledgeable when it comes to diesel. And I believe he has a similar background in truck pulling as well. Became very popular over on the East Coast with truck pulling. Got that XTP sponsorship, and then obviously built the Extreme Diesel Performance Monster Truck, and it was a huge success to him. And I wish that truck was still out on the circuit right now. So when he found out that you were going to be putting this truck together, I mean, was he kind of upset about it? Was he pissed off, or was he kind of cheering you on?
No, actually, before I even bought it, I called Dave and I said, hey, you know, it was during the pandemic basically, and he had obviously drawed back the reins like everybody had, and he, I think, took a dump truck driving job or something, but he was cool with it. He said, "Man, I'll help you any way I can." He said, "This is how I did mine originally," and he said there's some things I would have changed, and you know, he was very supportive. So I've talked to Dave probably 3 or 4 times during this build. I don't necessarily call him every day and keep him up to date with everything on that I do because I want to put my own swing on things, But pretty much anything I've called and I've asked him about was the same thing he had ran into 7 or 8 years ago, when he was doing his. He's like, "Dude, that's exactly what you did. That's what I did to mine, And he says, if you're going to backflip this thing, you don't need all those engine mounts you got in it. I only had 2 engine mounts and whatever." And gives me all kinds of advice, and I'm appreciative of it. So
he's definitely the go-to guy whenever the Diesel brothers were building their Monster Jam truck there at field headquarters. Honestly, they went right to him for all the answers in the world. I mean, I remember being on the road with him. They were supposed to debut that truck in 2018, and it didn't happen. They couldn't get the bugs worked out in it. So Colt Stevens, instead of driving Brodozer, was driving, I think, Zombie that first quarter, and then Heavy D and Diesel Dave, they weren't doing any driving for that reason alone. And in the meantime, we're out on first quarter and between working on trucks, and Dave's just constantly getting text messages from those guys working on the trucks. So he's obviously had a lot to do with Diesel monster trucks.
For sure, yep.
Speaking of the Diesel brothers, are you a fan of the Diesel brothers?
I think that they definitely brought a lot of publicity to the diesel sport. I'll give them that. They got the look, and they're the right place at the right time, and it really got what you can do with diesels out there. So, I mean, I don't agree with obviously everything they do or how they do it, present it, but I do think that just opening people's eyes to that there's diesels out there that can do what they're doing is a good thing for sure. In the diesel world, I'm not saying they got the best reputation for every diesel builder out there.
Yeah.
But as a whole, I think they're all right. Yeah. So
now you got a question in the comments. I don't know if we said this already, but is your truck that sits behind you right there, is that the old Night Stalker chassis?
So Paul ran the Night Stalker name on this chassis for a year or two, the way I understand it, when they first built it. So let me explain how this chassis come about, I guess, would be the best way to say that. So somewhere along the lines, Paul and Kirk Dabney got together, which is scary in itself, but there's a big name. But a Maximum Overkill chassis or duplicate of Maximum Overkill, some design of that got in their hands, got in Kirk's hands, and he brought it to Paul, and they had it replicated. And I think they made 4 or 5 of these chassis. And they had a weld shop here in Indiana. Actually, Paul did. I think that was the deal. And Paul had 4 or 5 of these chassis made at a weld shop here. I think Kirk got 2 of them, and Paul got 3 of them or something. And it's all a Marty Garza design. But then Paul turned. I think this one was originally Night Stalker, and the other one ran a name called like Evolution or something on it. And then somewhere along the line, I think Kirk sold his 2 chassis. Somewhere along the line, then this became American Outlaw, and the Evolution truck became Night Stalker. So they flip-flopped. So this has had the Night Stalker name on it at certain venues, just depending on what year you saw it. Yes. And actually, the rims that are on this that I got with this truck, one side of it's got dual flanges, which was really cool. It was a really innovative thing Paul did. They had 2 sets of flanges welded in these rims. One that made it 11 foot 8 wide if you bolted it on this side, and then if you wanted to go to the outdoor shows, you bolted it on the other side, and you were 12 foot 8, because there was only 12-foot doors into some of these arenas that they used to go in. Huh. And actually, one set of beads on my rims is green on the inside from being Night Stalker, and the outside is blue from being American Outlaw, because it always ran out. So you find out all kinds of things once you buy something, and you get to peeling paint off and everything, But
what's the plans with this truck then? Are you going to tour this truck? Are you going to race it? Are you looking to hit the Monster Jam circuit? What do you got planned for this truck?
So I don't really know. The sky is the limit. I don't necessarily want to travel all the time with it because I grew up. I traveled plenty when I was young, and I don't want to make my son travel. I just won't do that. But I'm not opposed to. I would like to do shows around here. I don't ever see it being on Monster Jam. I don't want to work on it that much. I guess maybe would be the best way to say it. But I think it's capable. It was approved to go run for Monster Jam in 2016. One of the last years Paul ran it, or he had a hired driver ran it. His name was Dalton. But so I kind of want to help it promote my YouTube channel with it. The big thing I want to do is I want to do old school things with this truck that new school trucks don't do anymore. I want to try to do off the wall things like floating. You don't see a lot of race trucks floating. I think I'm going to put a set of duals on it. I want to go out and float. It doesn't need duals, but I just think from stability it would be cool. I want to I'm a sled puller. We might see it hooked to a sled.
That would be wicked. That would be so cool.
So I said I will never own anything that can't hook to that pulling sled if it's got a Cummins in it. So I've got a few other things with Cumminses around this shop that have hooked to the sleds and broke, but I got some spare axle parts for this, so I don't know. But
watching monster trucks float, that was such an old school thing. I mean, kind of stayed back there, back in the day, but that needs to make a comeback, and your truck would be set up perfectly to go out there and float, I think.
Actually, I talk to Mike Botters quite often, and a big thanks to him for all his help. He's sometimes a hard guy to get a hold of, but he's been there and done that, and he's got a lot of good advice and whatnot. I started asking him 2 years ago when I told him I kind of wanted to do this, and actually I was going to buy an old school truck, which I can tell that story too. But I said I want to float. I said it looks fun. I said if nothing else, I want to own a monster truck to float it. And I said, have you ever floated one of your race trucks? And it wasn't, I don't know, 3 months. And there's a video on YouTube of him taking Stallion and Iron Warrior down in the water floating because I got it on his mind. And he's like, man, I got to float one of these trucks, So they took it down there and that was cool. So
we need to be seeing some more of that. So I definitely look forward. I know what video you're talking about too.
Yeah. Yep. So, but yeah, I want, back to what I'm going to do with this thing. The big thing is if you keep watching. I can't remember if it's on one of the videos that's out or not, but I put a car seat in it right beside my seat, and my little boy rides with me.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
We're going to go through some parades with this thing. We're going to take it out and cruise it and just have fun with it. It's going to have radiators in it that keep it cool. It can run forever is my goal. I want to treat it just like it's a regular pickup truck, and not worry about having to shut it off every now and then. So coming up on our YouTube videos, if you follow the channel, you'll see my little boy out riding in our field going over a jump and stuff, and I got a GoPro on his face and everything, and it's priceless to me. So so that's cool. That's kind of what I think I want to do with it. I want to do a little bit of everything. I want to do some county fair shows maybe around here. Since I've been back into this monster truck deal, I helped Andy Hoffman at 4 or 5 shows this year, just tire up and down and load up and everything. Just kind of paying my dues again, I guess, because I think that's what everybody needs to do if they want to be involved in this sport. Because that's probably the most unfun job of all of them is putting the big tires on them all.
I don't know. I enjoyed putting the big tires on them. I got bored with just using a regular jack every once in a while. And you probably remember being out in Glendale and our jack broke.
Yeah.
And so I was using a big old forklift to change the tires.
Oh, yeah, you were. I remember that.
Doing that? Yep. That's in one of our videos. Paige Johnson, I am drinking water out of my brand new, remember, when in doubt, throttle out coffee mug. Soon you'll be able to get that on our merch store. That's why. And he's got a good old Mountain Dew.
Yeah. But back to what I was saying, I've helped Andy, and there is like 10 shows within 2 hours of my house, which I didn't even know about until this year, from this full throttle monster truck tour. And there's one up here at South Bend Motor Speedway, a Night of Destruction deal. And then Warsaw had one that had Botters and Bigfoot, and that was a real good one. And I think I'm pretty well into that show for next year. Maybe I want to try to do maybe 5 or 6 shows that that are fun, and I can stay within, you know, a few hours of home and just see how we do with it performing, you know. See how we can go and hang with the guys, I guess.
You go and do
that'll-
that show. I'll come up and crew for you next year.
Okay. Put it on your schedule whenever you see it come up, or hit me up. So
We're getting our schedule ready right now.
I'm hoping not to need any crew. I'm hoping to just unhook the, you know, take the tires off, put it back in the trailer, not work on it. So
Yeah, but I want to be there to at least cheer you on. I'll act like I'm crewing anyways. I'll put on one of our high vis shirts and just hang out.
no, it's all good. I know. They all tell me, you know, that you're going to break stuff and don't stress over it when you do and everything, you know. So, and it's good to have people to help. I know guys like Andy Hoffman and whatever did this stuff for years and not had somebody there to help them and whatever. And whenever you get a crew guy to show up, it's like, man, this is a lot nicer. It's a lot more fun, you know. So
yeah, well, speaking of crew guys, Cooper Knuckles want to know if you're taking any applications to being a crew guy. He's one of the crew guys for Monster Jam. So
oh yeah,
there you go. You're already got people signing up to work for you. How about that? Good
yeah.
guys too. He's good.
Hook me up with his number. So
Yeah, he's good.
if he wants to just come work on this thing at night, I could go home and get a lot more. So it seems like every little thing you go to do to one of these turns into some big drawed out thing that takes 3 times as long, you know. I don't even know how guys get them from show to show after I've messed with this thing some and wrap my brain around changes I want to make and everything, you know. So if we got time, speaking of Night Stalker, now this is kind of a weird deal. So we had a leaf spring truck when I was growing up, and this kind of goes back to the story that Harley asked, why I wanted a monster truck.
Mm-hmm.
So towards the end of the time when my dad was doing the 4-wheel drive business and the Thunder National Tour and stuff, we bought the original Night Stalker monster truck off of Steve Combs that does the Combs shocks.
You got family history in the business. Okay.
Wow.
Yep. So we went and got, actually it was a partial trade deal and whatever. He got a big Suzuki Samurai my dad had built on 44s, and he got the Night Stalker body back off of that original truck, which it was a 79 or something. I think it was maybe a highboy body or something. But there's pictures of me when I was my son's age, crawled up in the bed of that Night Stalker truck when I wasn't supposed to be. But so that was a Night Stalker that we got, and my dad took the body off and he renamed it Green Giant because Kirk Dabney had the name Giant booked at a bunch of shows and he couldn't be at all of them, and he needed another Ford truck that said Giant on it. So my dad built a truck called Green Giant, and if you search on Google Green Giant Monster, it pops up, and it was a really neat looking early 90s Ford body, and I was hooked after we had our own monster truck at that point, obviously. So
it's never left you. I can see that. That's what happens when you get in this. You might get out for a little while.
You never end. It never ends.
We'll come back.
So Night Stalker name was spelt different, but here 25 years later or something, we bought another Night Stalker, you know, and relabeled it, I guess, which is odd enough. And it was a lot closer to home this time. So, and actually a year ago, August 1st, I flew to Colorado to buy our old monster truck back that was originally Night Stalker. So that was on my bucket list, and I was pretty serious that I was going to bring it back. I had my wife on board with it, and it had been stripped down too far and whatever. I made the guy an offer. It's sitting in a lot back. It's like an impound lot. It's got 48-inch tires on it now and everything, and yeah, so it's not here right now, but you just never know. That truck may still come home too, because I haven't crossed that off my list yet. But I did put a check beside being able to go see it again, and it still says Green Giant Monster underneath the wrap they got over it now, and it's got a place in my life still. So
absolutely.
Now we got a question from somebody watching. Does the truck have a name? What's the name of your truck?
It does. It is called the American Outlaw. And the reason for that American Outlaw name was Paul Wickelman, when I bought it, it was called the American Outlaw. And one of his drivers, I think his name was Dalton Skyhawk, and he still runs a truck around here. and I haven't been able to shake the guy's hand yet because I haven't been at a show where he's at, but I will, and I respect the guy. I think him and Paul come up with the name together or whatnot, and designed the artwork and stuff that was on it when I bought it, and that's kind of why Paul wanted to keep the body when I went to buy this truck, just out of respect for Dalton and him, because it was kind of their thing they come up with, and they wanted a piece. He wanted to keep a piece of it around. So it is the American Outlaw, and it makes sense because it is a diesel in a methanol monster truck world out there. So it's definitely kind of the outlaw. If it goes out and does any competing or does good at all, people are definitely going to think of it as that.
Well, and that's why I'm a big supporter of you right now, because especially with the Diesel Brothers not being on tour right now, Dave Radziers isn't running diesel. You are the only diesel monster truck out there right now, man. I mean, how does that make you feel?
Oh, I think it's cool, and I like being unique, and you got to set yourself apart. Obviously, I'm a truck guy. The sport has evolved crazy over time, but I like the differences in trucks. I always have. I grew up in a time when there was a lot of different style trucks and whatnot. They weren't all cookie cutters. And the old school trucks were different. There was diesels in them and stuff. And I think it's cool to have something that's a little bit different, you know.
Well, you got people in the comments who are loving your truck, loving the name of your truck, especially.
Heck yeah. Thank you. So that also pays tribute to Paul, is why I wanted to keep that name. Going back to that is, you know, the guy's been super helpful to me. Any question I ask, he's bent over backwards to tell me. He's told me stories that I'd never could have dreamed of. If I was there, it would have been hard to believe. And the guy, like I say, I want to keep him part of this. His health isn't the greatest. He ran this truck in 2016, or I think Dalton drove it in 2016 on its last run, and it hadn't been out of the shed in 5 years until I went and got it. So his health just got to where he couldn't do it anymore, and by doing this, he's not far away, and I talk to him about every day or at least once a week, and he can still kind of be part of it and have something to be proud of, you know. So and the Monster Truck Hall of Fame up in Butler, really, I don't know. I'm trying to get him kind of involved in maybe bringing his old Phantom Crusher truck back out to that to help him keep involved in the sport too.
Yes, that needs to happen. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of that truck. You are starting to get some questions and some comments in right now, and which I think is funny that this one just popped up because you and I were talking about this particular person on the phone today. Greg Carlisle wants to know, just curious, what does he think of Whistling Diesel? Because I don't know what to think myself.
So, Whistling Diesel, Cody Detweiler, grew up 7 miles from here in my shop, which is a stupid small world. And I never met the kid in person that I know of. I mean, maybe years ago before he became Whistling Diesel or whatever. But I definitely think he's made a heck of a business out of doing stuff to trucks. I don't know that it's nice things, but I think that he's very smart as a business man, obviously. I think he puts on a good show for a lot of videos. I think he's smarter than what he appears to be in the videos, but you just can't deny the success rate he's had. I don't agree with some of the stuff he does, but you got to give him props to what he's doing with it. You know,
I think you're speaking my mind and my opinion as well. I know Austin Spence, our beloved co-host on the show, does not care for him at all because of what he did to an old 79 Ford. And but what did that video do for that guy? That created a lot of traction for him and has become, you know, who he is now and known as Whistling Diesel. And, you know, that guy is a part of all kinds of celebrity outfits now. So, I mean, he's doing something right.
Doing something right.
For sure. And I don't want to get labeled as a copycat of the dude. He's obviously blew the thing out of proportion. I mean, across the globe that a lot of guys haven't been able to do. He floated a monster truck. Obviously, he had duals on his Duramax or whatever. I don't want people to start going on YouTube and saying I'm copying him if I go and float mine with duals on it or whatever. But I will say when he did that, I was like, man, that is something that I've been trying to do for a few years here, and he kind of beat me to it. But the thing about it is there's got to be some pride in having something when you're a guy like that, and he doesn't really work on anything himself. And this thing behind me, I put together myself for the most part. I mean, or put my swing on it and put hours and hours and hours in the shop.
I gotta say, I was watching you do your engine swap, and you were basically doing all that by yourself, and you look so comfortable doing that. I mean, there's guys like even myself when I'm doing an engine swap with 2 other guys on a truck, it just seems overwhelming. And I don't know how long it took you to do that, but in that video, you just look like you're right at home and you've been doing this all your life.
I had this thing built before I ever took possession of it, so mentally, it was already together. I just had to have the physical parts to put it together. And by the time I got the piece from Suncoast transmission that's in this to make this Dodge transmission go in place of a Turbo 400. It literally uses the Turbo 400 slip yoke that Paul had in this truck. I was ready to get it done. It was like a couple night thing, and I was going to put it together. I wasn't holding back. So,
well, there's guys that'll buy custom trucks, and there's guys that try to get into monster trucks. Obviously, they're not going to know what they're doing. But what I said by watching you in those videos, and the truck is coming along really well. I mean, you're making great progress on a truck for not, actually going and being crew chief on, certain trucks for years, and having that is your background. I mean, the truck's coming right along. And I know you sent me some pictures of, what the truck, it's going to look like, and the paint scheme and the body. Talk about the body real quick on the truck, because when I saw this without the paint on it, I honestly thought you should have just left it like that. It just looks so old school, so like junkyard badass. So kind of talk about the body real quick.
So it's a 69 Dodge body because I wanted a second generation Dodge, because our dirt drag truck America that we kind of made our YouTube channel off of is a second gen Dodge, and my diesel sled pulling truck, my coming on pulling truck, is a second gen Dodge, and that's just what I've messed with for years. But I couldn't get a second gen Dodge body. GTS cut the mold up and scrapped it. So when I called GTS, and then I beat every bush I could find, tried to find an old body, out from under or whatever, and there just weren't to be had. Andy had got rid of his, and there wasn't any barefoot bodies. I called Paul Schaefer and whatnot. I ended up with this 69 Dodge body, if you watch the videos, and it's the only one on a monster truck that I know of. The guy from GTS talked me into it, per se. He said, I've only sold this to sled pulling guys with modified 4-wheel drives, and he said, all the doors open on my bodies still. He said, if you're going to put it on a monster truck, I'm going to have to glass this thing all together for you. And I thought about it for a few days, and I called him back and I said, you know what? Get her done. I want that body. We're going to try something different. Maybe it'll set this thing apart, so.
And it does, dude, it's nasty. I love the approach, watching you and your buddy out there driving the truck out in the field. If you go to his YouTube channel, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's awesome. One last question I have for you, me personally, is I know one thing that the Diesel brothers struggled with whenever they were trying to get their truck together was the gearing on their truck. It was really kind of confusing because it seemed like from what those guys were used to building, blown alcohol engine trucks to now trying to get in the turbo diesel world, that they had the gearing all kind of backwards. And obviously somebody who helped them with that was David Ziers. And they were like, okay, that doesn't even make sense. And then they actually did what he said, and it like flipped the script for them completely. So has that been something that you've been kind of wrestling with as well? Do you kind of got an idea of what you're going to be doing gear wise with the truck? And you don't have to tell us your secrets, but how's stuff like that coming along for you?
Well, so how Paul had this thing set up is in the Profab, it's 10% overdriven. And I'm not up to date with it, what every monster truck, jam truck has or whatever. I'm about making what I have work. Yeah. So you're 10% overdriven in your transfer case, but every Power Glide or Turbo 400 in high gear is direct drive. You're 1-to-1. All right. So I have a 4-speed transmission in this, a Dodge transmission, just like is in our race truck America, with a locking torque converter. So the locking torque converter is going to help a diesel a lot, because that's going to be solid coupled. When it's locked, it's going to be putting the torque through it. And I have an overdrive housing on my tranny still. So if I get out on a long flat track and I feel 1-to-1 with the gears that are in the transfer case aren't enough, I flip a switch and it goes to overdrive, or I can set my tune to where it goes to overdrive. I got a controller for this transmission.
That's an advantage.
So that I'm going to be able to be overdriven. And past that, the testing I did, which is not out on video yet, but you'll see if you watch, keep following our channel. I think it's going to be all right, gear wise. It was pretty happy when I had it out in the field and stood on it and stuff. I think we got something to work with. So, yeah, I mean, other than just going to a show and trying it, I'm not sure right now, but we're working through it, and I think we're going to get it figured out.
So from the moment I talked to you a couple weeks ago, and honestly, watching your videos, you can kind of see it too. And then, you proved it again tonight. You just seem like a really down to earth person. I can't wait to see where this build goes for you. We're going to be following you now, plugging your name in, every chance we get. I don't know. Do you have a website? Do you have a way people can follow you? I know you got a YouTube channel, but you got other pages as well.
So you got at America TV, which will take you to, I believe, our Instagram, and you got America-TV, which is our YouTube channel. If you type in America Monster Truck, you'll find a video of it. There's 4 or 5 videos of this thing up, so you can follow us on YouTube's an easy way. And on the YouTube videos, the other links to my email. I think it's americavids@gmail. I don't email myself. So, but americavids@gmail. And yeah, you can get a hold of us. You type in America Monster Truck, you're definitely it's gonna start showing itself. So,
well, Brandon, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really look forward to what you got going on down the road, and we'll see you around, my friend.
Hey, my pleasure, man. Thanks for having me. And I look forward to talking to you guys. And I'm following you too. I just did a plug on my YouTube video tonight. So I'm going to try to help you guys out as much as you're helping me.
Thank you.
So.
Awesome, man. We appreciate you, good buddy. Hey, call us anytime. All right.
All right, man. Take care. We'll see you.
Bye.
See you, man. Well, we are kind of halfway through the show tonight. Man, he's such a cool guy. I said, from the moment
he really is a cool guy.
From the moment
I'm excited to see this truck all done.
From the moment I talked to him on the phone, you can just tell he's a real genuine person. The monster truck industry needs more guys like him, and I'm really excited to see where this build is going. Diesel monster trucks, man. I know there's some guys out there that weren't too crazy about the diesel stuff. Dave Radzier's ended up making a huge name for the diesel monster truck world. No, he wasn't the first to do it, but he built a badass piece. The Diesel brothers wanted to get involved. They had issues at first. They stumbled through it, and then they made a badass piece as well. And they should be back in the industry. They should be back at Monster Jam. I hope they get back in it sometime soon. However, in the independent world now, and in all of monster trucks, there's only one real diesel monster truck out there right now, and that is the American Outlaw truck with Brandon Overmyer. Excited to see where this goes. However, we are halfway through the show. Let's talk about what else is going on in the world of monster trucks, because there's a little bit happening. A few weeks ago, a gentleman messaged me, and I was supposed to bring this up a while ago. I've just been messing around and hadn't got to it. But out there on the West Coast, there's a mini monster truck called the Warhead Mini Monster Truck, driven by Mason Minner. I believe he's about 11 years old. And the team is wanting to transform into a full-size monster truck. Now, I believe Mike will be driving that when it comes out originally. Harley, you can go ahead and click this video down here. This is a Mason driving his Mini, and
I will as soon as it lets me.
Yeah, I don't know if we're having internet issues or what around here. So if we are forgive us, y'all. I don't know exactly what's going on. But Mason started driving, and he's going to jump into the full size before too much longer. The AM chassis design to get their name out there in the fully Play-Doh. His son Shane came on the show, and I believe Harley Monster Truck. They're trying to get Mason in the youngest monster truck driver.
This is end. I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know if
you can see us on our end.
it's.
I'll take us off. Hello. Is there anybody out there watching us right now? We're trying to get our technical difficulties figured out. I don't know if this is working anymore. Somebody comment. If you're out there and you're watching, let us know. Hello. Anybody out there? Sounds good. Hey, I think we're rolling again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's try this again.
That was super weird. Wow. How about that?
Technology now.
Technology days, man. Yeah.
We're not pros at doing this.
We're just out here, us independent studio. We're just figuring shit out as we go. So how about this? Let's retry this plug again,
Let's
y'all.
try again with
And
the Warhead Shop.
Thank you for welcoming us back. We're glad to be back. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Mike Hedman. Thank you for everybody watching. Mike Huron, Mike Minner, Cooper Knuckles, everybody that's watching right now. Thank you so much. Forgive us. We're trying to, yeah. I was sounding like I had too many brewskis and I haven't. I've been drinking straight water over here, y'all. I promise. So, anyways, let's try this plug again. Let's do this.
Start over.
So, anyways, out there on the West Coast, Mike Minner and his son Mason Minner, they are building a full-size monster truck, and it was being built by Craig Christensen Motorsports. They build good equipment, and I think the initial application is they're trying to get Mason to be, the youngest monster truck driver. Right now, Shane Plato out there on the West Coast as well is the youngest monster truck driver at 13 years old. There have been some young guns come through the sport, but Shane is looking really good right now in a full size. So now we're going to attempt to have Mason Minner out there in a full-size monster truck at 11, maybe 12 years old next year. This is huge for the sport, Harley.
This is huge. We're going to have a 12-year-old driving a full-size monster truck. I mean, it's crazy.
I guess the plan is to debut it next year. From what I've been told, though, this chassis has been sent off to get sandblasted and powder coated That is huge news for a team. Harley.
Okay.
Harley, if we're building a monster truck and we get a truck sent off assembly, and we've done this with other chassis at Monster Jam, but there is nothing more exciting than watching that chassis roll back through the door. It's powder coated and it is now ready for assembly.
And we have some pictures of the chassis.
We
right?
do? Think you can pull it up?
These ones, right?
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
check that out. KCM Motorsports chassis got the Butler seat fitted in there right now. There's going to be nothing better as of right now for the team when they watch that chassis roll back through the shop and that thing is powder coated, ready to be put together like a good old fashioned jigsaw puzzle. I know Mason's got to be put. Could you imagine being 11 years old looking at a brand new piece like that? A good piece, you know?
If you were 11 years old and you were getting a full-size monster truck, you'd be like, yes, hand me the keys right now. I'm driving.
But these guys, you can follow them on Instagram at Warhead Monster. Facebook is, I think, Warhead Mini Monster. But really looking forward to what these guys have to bring to the table. Mason can flat out drive. He puts on one awesome show every time out. Yeah, I can see that just in the videos that I've seen out there. If any kid can beat the record, Mason will be the one. And that's cool. That is actually awesome to see Lee and Shane cheering this guy on. They want this kid to get out there and beat the record and be the youngest driver. That's great sportsmanship. The industry needs this. So you got some fans over here on the Throttle Out show. Definitely.
Are you sure you're not drunk?
I promise I'm not drunk.
I can't make any promises.
No, I'm not drunk.
For him.
We've got plenty of water over here. I'm staying hydrated. All right. Moving on, though. We got a couple other things.
What is our next topic?
Our next topic.
I'm so thrown off by that. That earlier.
I know that totally just like screwed everything up.
We can talk about this. 4-wheel jamboree is now going to have monster trucks now all of a sudden.
Apparently they're going to have monster trucks. They said they wanted to stick to the mega trucks this year, and it pissed a lot of people off. A lot of fans were upset. A lot of monster truck guys were upset. Now I guess they're going to get monster trucks involved. Where'd you find this at?
On the left side is a screenshot of what Cody Saucier posted today, looking for a couple monster trucks. And on the right side is a screenshot taken straight from the 4-wheel jamboree Instagram account. So they did confirm that there are going to be monster trucks there. I guess we just don't know which ones.
How about that? Go figure. Monster trucks at the jamboree now.
Do you remember how big of a deal you guys made it that monster trucks weren't going to be at this event?
It is a big deal. I mean, I remember
I think we talked about this like over 3 or 4 episodes of how mad you guys were about this.
We did. And one person especially who was upset about this was Gene Patterson. I don't know if you remember that or not, but he was especially upset about that. So I'm glad to see that they're coming back. I'm glad to see y'all in the comments are really looking forward to this. Monster trucks just need to be back in general. Yes, we freaking absolutely agree. Now we got another picture of something, Harley, that you wanted to talk about tonight. I'll go ahead and I'll let you bring that up.
Oh, I got a couple more things. Which one? This one?
Well, that's one of them. We know.
Well, we can talk about this.
What is that?
That's the Hot Wheels monster truck, right?
Yeah, that is.
The Race Ace at the Bigfoot shop, it looks like.
Now, I don't know. Have they even posted any pictures of that, or is that just a fan
This is just a fan photo. Driving by the shop and the truck was out there all
now,
tired up.
From what I can tell, that looks like Bigfoot number 18, which is what Christian, Storm, and Norman drives. So,
and we know Christian's back at the Bigfoot shop.
And Christian's back. So I can only imagine Christian's going to be driving Race Ace. This news that Christian was going to be driving came to us, I think, almost 2 months ago now. I found out he was going to be driving. There was no announcement made by Bigfoot or Christian. And then inside source, he ended up coming through for us. And how about that? So Christian Norman looking like he's going to be driving Race Ace on the Hot Wheels tour. Hot Wheels trying to rebuild after being out of the shadow, after being out of the track for over a year due to the coronavirus and the pandemic. So Hot Wheels is trying to get geared back up and trying to get some races going. I think they're kind of in random locations as well.
They are. I think they're just like random weekends in October, and then maybe the end of September is when they start. Maybe. Yeah. I should have looked at that.
Yeah.
Rodney Tweedy needs to be back in Bigfoot.
That'd be cool to see.
That would be cool.
Speaking of that, I know that there has actually been some requests both from fans and from Hot Wheels people themselves for Rodney Tweedy to get back in the seat. And no, I'm not plugging my dad just because he's my dad. I've been hearing this on the down low. So Bigfoot, if you're listening, if you're watching, listen to your fans. You're going to end up like Monster Jam for too much longer, losing fans for not changing stuff and not listening to your fans. So check that out, Bigfoot. Snakebite is supposed to be on the
as
tour.
well as the Mega Rex,
That
which
has
I think is going to be really cool to see him.
it's been missing from Hot Wheels.
Mhm.
What? So for those of y'all who don't know the history about the Snakebite monster truck, teaming up with Bigfoot, back in the day, that was what Hot Wheels, they created the Snakebite name and the logo to run with Team Bigfoot for Hot Wheels. It's been mind-boggling to me just trying to understand why Snakebite hasn't been on the tour.
I'm sure there's some reason why Snakebite couldn't be on the tour.
And then I hear Hot Wheels may have a few new drivers when they get going. Hey, we've been speculating on this for a little while now. And I don't know if this is true or Lee, if this is what you're talking about, but we were thinking that Scott Buteau, former, primetime Monster Jam driver, was going to head over to the Hot Wheels tour. And he still just might do that. But I've been also hearing some stuff on the down that there's going to be some other Monster Jam drivers come over to the Hot Wheels tour. That might be happening. So there's that. What else did we have to talk about? There was something else. I think it was Monster Jam related,
It was
wasn't
Monster Jam related. Now, let's see. Per the Orlando board of what does that say? Of county commissioners, Monster Jam World Finals is scheduled to happen next year. This is not confirmed by Feld yet, but I guess the week leading up to that weekend in May for World Finals, there's going to be a bunch of events related to Monster Jam going on in Orlando.
So you mean to tell me that once again, Monster Jam news was reported by somebody else other than Monster Jam?
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
Boy, they better get the hang of their shit, huh?
I don't think they have any control of like their information. It just goes out there before they can even say anything.
Now, if Monster Jam is going to indeed have a world final set in May of next year, this is really good for the sport, not just for Monster Jam in general, or Monster Jam, but for monster trucks in general.
I think it'll definitely change the way the tours are ran next year. People are going to be, going a lot more harder for those points and getting those championships, because obviously if you win a championship, you're obviously getting into the world finals.
Yeah, and I mean, Monster Jam's already talked about how they want to add more tours for next year. So you get that, like you said, the points battle going. You get people coming out for the World Finals. It's going to be in Orlando again. I know a lot of people weren't happy with the World Finals being in Orlando. They wanted to see it stay out in Vegas. I don't know how you felt about it.
I wish it was back in Vegas. I went to Vegas, I think 4 or 5 years in a row, and I loved every year of it. It definitely should have stayed in Vegas.
Look at Joshua Blake Wills comment on the very bottom down here. They need to have a 20th anniversary El Toro Loco as well as a 40th anniversary Gravedigger.
Yeah.
I mean, they do. They I don't think
maybe at World Finals, maybe they'll do something for Son of a Digger, El Toro,
yeah,
Gravedigger. They have a bunch of anniversaries coming up, and they haven't really seemed to be doing anything about it this year.
Nothing. They've completely dropped the ball on that. They're making their fan base not happy. They're missing out. Why there has not even been an announcement that El Toro Loco has been around for 20 years is way beyond myself. El Toro Loco.
Yeah, we didn't see El Toro Loco this year until what, a month ago?
It wasn't even that long ago.
Not even that long ago.
No, Armando Castro brought it back out there at the LA show.
Oh, we just have a random question from Jerry R. What's your favorite monster truck?
My favorite monster truck?
Let's narrow it down. Your favorite monster truck in Monster Jam besides Todd.
Oh, in Monster Jam?
Yeah, we'll just narrow it down.
Why besides Todd? That's my favorite Monster Jam.
Yeah, because we all know you're gonna say Todd. Everyone that watches the show knows that you're gonna say Todd.
Can it be an independent all on Monster Jam circuit?
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
I feel like the obvious answers are obviously Bigfoot or Monster Energy.
Well, yeah. So on the Monster Jam circuit, I would, and I can't say Todd Monster Energy. I don't know what's good. It's obviously gonna be a truck that I'm biased towards, so it's got to be either El Toro Loco or Jester. All three, or I say all three because I'm including Monster Jam, mean a lot to me. Those trucks, I have personal history with, success with. So I've got to go with, like I said, El Toro Loco is a popular truck anyways.
for me, it would like be the same reasoning. Like I really love the Mohawk Warrior truck, obviously because my dad drove it for a couple of years. So my heart's with that truck every time I see it.
Do a collaboration encore, or even have a 5-pack El Toro Loco come out later on this year at
Mhm.
Target. There has been no announcement whatsoever from Monster Jam that El Toro Loco has been around for 20 years even. So at the rate Monster Jam's going, I'm not going to be surprised if they continue, if they just throw this idea away and they let it go. Yeah, if Todd was driving the Rockstar Energy, off-road truck. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe Todd will get back into driving off-road trucks at some point. I don't know if Monster or follow him or not. That'd be cool. I think I'd pick Vendetta down there on Lou Clark. What are some of y'all's favorite trucks down there in the comments? Aston Tweedy says Scarlet Bandit is hands down the best. She's also a 7-year military veteran. I actually didn't know that till maybe a month ago. So
Did you really?
no, I really didn't know that.
Oh my gosh.
So about a month ago, I had no idea.
I think they say it every time she comes out. And wasn't she on tour with us in 2020? And you didn't pay attention to that at all?
No, I was too busy
Okay.
working on Jester. Hey,
Sue
Seuss.
said Overkill Evolution.
That
Good choice.
okay.
Good
Yeah.
choice.
I think Mikey Vaughters has probably got to be. Yes, he is a decorated monster truck driver. I still think he's very underrated for as damn good
Very
as that guy is
underrated.
driving. He
Mhm.
basically creates his own publicity, honestly, because he has to. He's not
Mhm.
being talked about enough out there in the world. Warhead Reloaded. Hey, that's a good name. That is a badass name. Like that a lot.
Yeah, Ashlyn. Yeah, I know I'm right. They do announce it.
Whatever, y'all
He just
girls
doesn't pay
teaming
attention
up
at
against
all.
me. Gravedigger and Bulldozer. Haven't heard that name in a while. That truck is way past its 20th anniversary, and I think they should have brought back
Wouldn't it be
Bulldozer.
cool if they had an encore for El Toro Loco's anniversary and then they brought Bulldozer out?
Yeah, and Tom Mintz was driving it. That'd be awesome.
That would be such an awesome encore to see.
Matt Cheever, all-time USA 1. Yes, sir. We can't wait to see that truck out on the circuit, driven by 4x4 Barbie now. And just in case anybody who's out there that they're watching tonight, potential driving candidates, they are still looking for an additional driver up there on Team USA 1. So get your resumes ready. Send them in up there to James Trantina.
So since World Finals is going to be Orlando next year, does that mean the Throttle Out crew is going to Orlando next year for World Finals?
I guess that's what that means.
That's what it means.
We're honestly,
Spence, if you're watching, start saving up now so we can go next year.
We're trying to get our schedules intact for all the events and the things and stuff that we have planned for next year. Y'all see it tonight. I'm wearing a different color of Throttle Out show shirt. We're calling this the flagship logo, the flagship shirt. We're so close, y'all. It's like we can see the finish line.
It's perfecting the small little details on the designs and putting them up on the website.
And I'll just go ahead. I'll be honest. I'll be bold with everybody right now. One of the things that we're working on, if you look at my hat right here, hashtag RWIDTO, looks really good. It's a really good looking hat. However, if you were to zoom in underneath, it's supposed to say, remember when in doubt, throttle out. And it does say that. Not legible though, or legibly. I don't know what the word is I'm looking for.
You can't read it very clearly.
Yeah, I played football in high school and I work on monster trucks for a living. I'm not good with words, but you can't read it very good on the direct embroidery. And it looks great on everything else. For those of y'all who might be interested in something like this, we got some phone cases as well. This is all just sample products.
You won't believe how many things we have got samples of that are
Who wants
just
a coffee
scattered
mug?
around this apartment.
Don't tell me y'all don't want a coffee mug. All right. These are affordable too. Get you a Throttle Out show coffee mug. I'm just drinking water right now because I don't need to be drinking caffeine at 8:30 at night.
I like this comment. Be nice to the boss lady.
Yeah, she owns the show. Legit.
I do.
Yeah. On paper.
Now, this Sunday, do you have anything coming up this Sunday? Other than you're going to open some mystery boxes from Spence live on the show. I don't even know half the stuff that you got in this mystery box, so it's a mystery to me as well.
I'm not going to open them right now. I'm just going to show everybody, okay?
Show the boxes.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to show. You keep talking. I'll get the boxes. I don't know why we're wearing our headphones. There's nobody listening to besides ourselves.
We're listening to ourselves through the headphones. It's fine. See any mega truck names? I'm getting an RC truck soon.
Any mega truck names? I mean, get a Tannerite body.
Yes.
Yeah, get a Tannerite,
Mhm.
man. We just had him on
Or
the show
King
the other
Sling.
day.
King Sling.
King Sling.
Mhm.
Yep.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think of what Corey Rumble's mega truck is called. It's like
I can't remember.
Gone Muddin' or
I could see it. I
yeah.
could picture it, but I don't know what it's called.
This Sunday on the show, our guy Austin Spence, who's not on here tonight, sent me this. Got 2 boxes. I have no idea what they're in. I'm not allowed to open, until it's live on the
I know
show.
2 things that are in the box, but I think there's other stuff in there that I don't know. So
It's killing me. Spence, damn you. I can't open these tonight because you're not here. We got that coming up. Also with a potential big announcement on Sunday, potentially.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, you don't?
Potential big announcement?
Mhm.
What is this potential
Oh,
big
you're
announcement?
the owner. You should know this.
You don't tell me everything, even though I am the owner.
You're the owner. You're supposed to be calling the shots around here.
Okay, well, you could tell me off air what you're talking about because I have no idea what he's talking about this potential announcement.
You want to get our outro video ready for us?
Yes, yes.
Joshua Blake Wells, I'm not going to tell you what the announcement is. I'm just going to say you got to tune in on Sunday. And I don't want to get everybody's hopes up. It may or may not happen Sunday, depending on what I'm able to get in the mail by the end of this week. A couple other things, but we got some stuff in the works. Mike Hedman can't wait for Tom Fuller and Motorsports to get Excalibur truck back out and running. Yeah.
Yes, we can't wait either.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we're ready to see that truck hit the market as well as recreation. I don't know if they've put a pause on that truck. If we're just, waiting on whatever for that truck to get out there.
I
But
don't know.
Tom Furley's got some things in the works.
They've
as
also
well.
been really busy like all year long with shows. I don't think they've had many breaks this year at all.
When's Bakugan Hater coming back? What do you mean? I never left.
This is the Bakugan hater right here.
Yeah, I'm the Bakugan Hater.
Spence likes Bakugan. This guy hates Bakugan.
Yeah, what a stupid truck.
Also, my dad's gonna be driving Wildcard.
Yeah,
in
that's what I wanted to
California.
hear.
Yep.
Ready to see you back in a truck, man.
Sacramento and Fresno. He'll be driving Wildcard.
Yes, sir. Well, I hope the throttle doesn't stick on you. Make sure you clean
Yeah.
out the butterflies. Oil those butterflies up a little bit. Don't be shattering rear ends out there, but drive the wheels off that truck though at the same time, man. We love watching you drive a truck. Well, y'all, we're back down to that time of the show where it's time to say goodbye. So thank y'all for tuning in tonight. We are so sorry about that technical difficulty that we had, but huge thanks to Brandon Overmyer for joining us tonight and the American Outlaw Diesel Monster Truck. Diesel Monster Trucks are back. Austin Spence is out on the road tonight. He's not on the road. He's in his hometown doing a hometown show in Jackson, Michigan. So we miss you, buddy. Hope you had a great night. Remember, y'all, when in doubt, throttle out. Peace out, y'all.